Lisa from Queen Bee Creations, and I'm back with card number 2 from our virtual class using the Lift Me Up bundle. So if you ordered this from me off of my website, then I sent you a little packet with the materials that you need to make this card. And so I'm going to show you now how we're going to go about making that card. So we're starting out, if you have the pieces, you would go ahead and die cut out of this square, and you would have the hot air balloon and the clouds, which are going to go onto the front of our card over the designer series paper. And then I used the die from the set, and I just laid it on here and traced around it with a pencil. And then what I'm going to do is just cut it out. Likewise, you could also, glue this to here already, then just trim around it. Just basically you want a solid piece behind the balloon. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to do 2 pieces, leaving the strings kind of hanging in midair. And then have the color behind the basket and behind the balloon. And I'm just trimming inside the lines here. I'm not being too fussy because we can always give it a little trim once we have it mounted. And then I'm gonna just mount it, like I said, behind here. Yeah, need a little bit more trim. And then to adhere it, because it's one of these more intricate dies, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my silicone craft mat and a sponge. And I'm going to put a little dab of glue up here in the corner. And then I'm going to use a sponge. Now I just took one of our circular sponges, cut it in little wedges, and I'm just going to pick some up. And then I'm going to just dab it on the back, making sure it's good and covered. Need a little bit more than that. So I'm just going to get lots of glue covering the back of this. And then I'm going to place it over the top of the colored cardstock. And because it's a liquid glue, it's going to give me a little bit of time to wiggle, to move it around until it's stuck in the right spot. And then we need the part for the basket. Let's see how I cut that. Okay. So as you can see, it's a little bit big, but we can just go ahead and give it a little trim. And given more time, without the camera in front of your face, you get a little closer, but you're getting the idea of we're just going to trim it so that it's the behind. So that's going to be our balloon. And then we're going to come back to our card base. And again, this is a standard card base, 8.5 by 11, cut in half, so that we have 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to score at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of the designer series paper that is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4. It's just 1/4 inch smaller. And then I'm going to put some snail adhesive. All of our designer series paper are 2-sided, so you have your choice of which side you're going to use. I'm going to go ahead and use the map so that the balloon is floating above everything. And then let's add some clouds. I'm just going to add a little bit of mono adhesive glue. And clouds are random. You can place them wherever you'd like. here. And then I'm going to adhere the balloon hanging over the air in the top. And in order to give that a little bit of oomph, I'm going to adhere that with Stampin' Dimensionals. And place that on the center of our card. Then what I'm going to do is use this little green strip of paper. It's actually mint macaroon. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment on there. I'm going to do sending smiles across the miles. And if you'll notice, this stamp has words in a line. So what I'm going to do is use my grid paper to line the stamp up on one of the grid lines. And then set my stamp down, or my stamp block down over the top and use it to pick it up. And that's what will keep me centered and straight to then stamp onto my piece of paper. Then I'm going to flag the ends of it, which would be really easy to do with our triple banner punch. So if you have one of those, go ahead and do that. But if you don't, one of the things you can do is you can cut down the middle and then go from the corner to that middle point where you cut, and then from the corner to the middle point where you cut. And that will give you a perfect flag on the end as well. So there we have our sentiment, and you can place that wherever you like. This one I've placed, across the balloon. I think this one I'll stick on the bottom. Again, I'll do that with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Just have fun with it. Everybody always wants to say the card has to be exactly like mine, and that's not true. That's the fun of this, is to see, everybody starts out with the same exact materials, and to see all the fun different things people come up with. So there's the outside. Now for the inside of the card, I'm going to make it kind of coordinated. What I'm going to do is use the stamps out of this stamp set to add a few little extra things inside. So let's start with some clouds. So let's just randomly say, okay, we'll put one there. We'll put one here. And then, let's see, I've got another sentiment here. We'll add to the inside. And these are just ideas. Just, get out your stamp set, have a little bit of fun, see what you can come up with. And I've got the smaller balloon here. Have that come in over here, maybe coming up from the bottom, and then we'll use Calypso Coral and our larger balloon. Let's come in with that one, maybe right about here. And then we'll just add a little bit of snail adhesive. Place it in the center of our card. And there you have it. There's card number 2 from our virtual class using the Lift Me Up and Up and Away bundle set. Make sure to come back to queenbeecreations.net to check out my blog for other inspirational ideas and follow along on my YouTube channel for card number 3. Thanks for joining. Bye.